a model featured in Maxim and Playboy.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Of course.
I wish it was better circumstances that brought us together.
Girl, me too, but you know what? It's okay. I'm learning to just kind of like embrace what happened. And honestly, when I tell this story, I find myself laughing because I'm like, I just can't believe something that happens in movies happened to me.
Right. So for those of you who are wondering what brought us together, there's an LA swindler on the loose.
On the loose. He is on the loose. But apparently he's not in LA right now. So,
well, for
he'll
good reason. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. The Tinder Swindler on Netflix is like huge, right?
Huge.
So is like Anna. What was
Inventing
it?
Anna. And I believe that he is a combination of both. I actually have talked to multiple people about this before, and we believe that he studied both of those
for sure.
And utilized the techniques that they use and combined them basically.
So Bri, you posted a post on Instagram about this LA swindler, and I had an experience with him. That's why I reached out to you.
Yes.
He wanted to sublease my apartment. We met on Facebook Marketplace. I put it up there, and the only condition I had was that he had to pay 3 months up front. That was what I wanted.
Right.
He said he would send a wire.
Oh, the wire.
And it would take a few days, blah, blah, blah. And
international.
Me being...
Which is believable, though, because international wires do take up to 8 days.
For sure.
So, I mean,
But this is the pattern. This is what he does.
Yes.
It started with the wire. It never came.
Fake wire.
The fake wire. He pretends to be this professional golfer, which I don't think he is. Sponsored by all of these brands, like Rolex, which he promised my boyfriend and I at the time. He promised a Toyota car for me.
Oh my gosh, no way.
He promised all of these things that at the time, looking back, like my ex at the time was like, this kind of sounds like a con. And even my dad was like, it kind of sounds like a con. But he just makes it so believable.
He is so manipulative and he seems so genuine. It's sickening. And I think that's because he truly is a psychopath.
But this is what I want to shine a light on, because I feel like for nice people like us who like want to give people a chance and like want to give people the benefit of the doubt and stuff like that, these are the signs you need to look out for.
100%. When he reached out to me, I know that he studied my profile and targeted, like, he molded himself to be someone that he thought that I would love to date.
Right.
For example, like, I go to church every Sunday that I'm in town. I do travel a lot, and religion is something that is important to me. And he made up this crazy story one day that he's like, yeah, by the way, babe, today I got in a fist fight. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because this guy was walking around saying he was a Satan worshiper and had it written all over his car, and I punched him in the face. And I'm like, well, the difference between me and you is that I would never do that. Like, I believe what I believe and I don't preach it on other people. If you can believe what you want to believe, and I respect that. And you to get in a physical fight over that, I mean, number one, it wasn't true, I'm sure. No.
Yeah, it's not true.
But it's like,
he said things like, it's similar to that when my ex went to go pick up the Rolex that he had promised us. He like ghosted us and didn't answer, and then he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I got hydroplaned, I was talking to the cops. Like, it's always an excuse. And then 2 weeks in, when I got no payment yet, after 2 weeks I had to go kick him out, and he gave me his laptop as a way of saying, like, no, it's coming, like,
gave you his laptop.
So I gave him one more chance, which I shouldn't have done.
In hindsight, we see all these red flags, but in the moment, I truly didn't either. And yeah, I had
because
so
he
many
makes
people,
these papers, these fake papers of like,
is
look,
a master
here's
of
the money coming through.
And fraud.
Forgery and fraud. Yep.
So, which are both federal crimes. And I told him that, and he's like, he filed this whole lawsuit against me that is all fake, saying that we were in a relationship, which we never were. He was essentially proving himself to me. That's what he told me, trying to prove to me that he wanted to date me. I would never just jump into a relationship with someone I just met.
Right.
But he claims that he broke up with me because of my cocaine addiction. And everybody who knows me knows that I've never done cocaine in my life, even once.
Yeah.
I could pass a hair drug test and a lie detector test saying, I've never done that.
No,
So
I believe you.
where do you come up with these
He does
lies?
come up with these
It's
things.
so crazy.
I want to hear your full story, like from the beginning.
Okay.
But I just want to say that he also forged a lawyer document. So he's an expert gaslighter also. So he, after the 2 weeks, whenever I would ask for the money, he would then get mad at me for asking for it. Like, dude, you're the one that didn't pay. And he'd be like, why do you keep asking? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because you didn't pay it. Like, what the fuck? So he's a gaslighter. And when I eventually kicked him all the way out, had to get the cops involved. It was like a whole thing. He made this lawyer document, forged a lawyer company, suing me for $6.5 million for like all this bullshit that I didn't do. And just because he was mad that he got caught, that I wasn't putting up with his bullshit. You know what I mean? And I called the law company that was on the forged document that he made.
Their letterhead. He stole their
letterhead. And I said, I just got, I want to run this by you. I just got this sent to me today from a client that you're supposedly representing. And they said, okay, read the details to me. So I read them the details and they said, hold on a second. They go talk to each other, come back. They go, we've never heard of this guy before in our lives and we are not working with him. And this is a completely fake document. And I was like, thank you. That's all I need to know. Blocked him, never talked to him again. The end. Like, because he's full of shit.
In the end, I truly think that law firm, because he used their letterhead multiple times in the victims that I've discovered and spoken with and received all their fraudulent documents, because now I have to use them in court.
Yeah.
That I believe that they should be suing him because that's fraud.
Okay, let's rewind. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's paint this picture from
Okay.
day one.
Okay.
Because 8 other women, right, have come forward. 8 other people have come forward.
So I have the owner of Warwick. He tried to do the Rolex scam on. My friend's family are the main shareholders of Warwick, so he's part owner of that technically. And he came up to him at his birthday dinner and said, I want to invest in Warwick. And he and my really good friend immediately was like, this guy is a fraud, a scammer. I actually ended up getting in a huge fight with one of my best friends because of this.
Wow.
So that's two.
So one person is that he tried to invest, but he doesn't have the money to invest, obviously.
Multiple people.
He tried to steal Ferrari, right, from one of your other friends.
So the owner of Warwick, is a part owner of Hyde. Okay. So a friend of mine, I didn't realize any of this until after he had, I believe 100% with all of my heart, because he was the only person in my apartment that somehow, with his track record of being a con artist, he broke into my safe, stole my life savings basically, and that was in there in cash. And
how did you guys meet?
So I had a mutual friend who basically said, come to the Super Bowl with me and my friend. He vouched for him. He said he's a pro golfer. He's an investor. He's buying the suites. He will be driving us in his Porsche SUV. And I was like, whatever. It didn't end up happening. But at the time I had followed him because I said, who's the friend? I'd followed him because I thought we were going to the game, and then unfollowed him. So due to me doing that, it made his messages show up in my regular folder on DMs, so I actually saw his messages.
Okay.
So after that, he continued to message me, and his infamous line was, be my date to the Forbes Gala. I don't know if you know about this, but with all the girls who he seeks out on Instagram, that's what he says. Be my date to a Forbes Gala.
So if this guy or any guy messages you saying, be my date to a Forbes Gala, be a little bit wary of that.
Yeah. So I was kind of on the rebound. I was, mentally like, oh, I'll give this nerdy little looking guy a chance.
Right.
And
Yeah.
well, I'll go out on a limb here. And I also am about letting people prove to me who they are, which in my mind, I thought that's what he was doing. But really the entire time he was conning me.
Oh, the whole time. Yep.
It's crazy. So he reached out to me about it. This whole thing has happened in the span of a little over a month. my life has been flipped upside down.
That's exactly what happened to me. It was like a month from hell.
Exactly.
Just dealing with him is like pulling teeth on a daily basis.
It's so bad.
And he and I had nothing romantic, and it still was like the biggest annoyance to have to deal with this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. He is, I don't know how someone can be this kind of person.
Me neither.
And then think they're going to get away with it.
Right.
So about a little over a month ago, I finally responded to his DMs because of the place I was at in my life. And I was like, you know what, I'll give him a chance. So we started DMing. He started sending me voice notes, and then we were sending those back and forth for like 2 days, and he was just, I mean, like begging, like, can I please call you? So we talked on the phone, and he just babbled on for like an hour and a half, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now. But he was just like begging, can I please come over and walk your dog with you? Like, I just want a chance to like get to know you and hang out with you. And I was like, no.
Probably because he didn't have a place to stay.
I believe that was it, because then he brought his bag and moved in a few days later.
Yep.
But,
oh my God.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to hang out with this guy and give him a chance. So I was going to dinner at Nice Guy with my friends, and one of which who is a billionaire, and I introduced him to, and that's crazy to me. But, I'm just very giving and trusting, and like, why would I not trust? Like, now I won't trust anyone.
I like connecting people too. It's like, why not?
Exactly. I just am like, everyone come and have a good time. Who cares?
Right.
So he came to the dinner with us, and then we went to the club, and then we actually went to my friend's house after. And when I told him this whole story, he's like, holy shit, that guy was in my home. And I was like, yeah.
That's scary.
It is scary. It's scary when you're that type of person and you have so much to lose.
Right.
But I mean, it's scary for anyone, but especially him.
The part that I think is so interesting is that, so you were gone for like a few days or whatever, and he was like, let me, so you were gone for one day, and he was like, let me clean this room. And he wanted to clean the room that the safe just happened to be in.
Exactly. And he sent me a text while I was gone. He was like, please, begging me, please let me watch your dog. And I was like, that's fine, because like I didn't want to have to pay for a dog sitter. And I did trust him at the time. We were like kind of seeing each other, not in a relationship, but like, whatever. Yeah. I thought I could trust him.
Right.
So I gave him a fob to my apartment to scan in to let the dog out. And while I was gone, he texted me saying, Bub, I was cleaning and I put your safe on this stool, because I also do lashes and brows. Okay. So like I have like a stool that I sit on when I work.
Yeah.
He said, allegedly, he put the safe on the stool and it fell off, but he doesn't think that it broke. Okay. For
thousands
his fingerprints
and
being
thousands of dollars. Do you want to tell them how much it was, or do you want to keep that private? It was a lot.
It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money, thousands and thousands.
It was your whole life savings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like your emergency savings.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, it's just crazy, because to me, it still doesn't feel real, but I'm learning to deal with it every day.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So by sending that text, he knows what he's doing. He's so smart. That was him covering his tracks for his fingerprints being on the safe, because I did have it fingerprinted. However, I had the inside of the safe fingerprinted. I'd only had that safe for about 2 to 3 weeks before he broke into it. And absolutely no one knew about it. Absolutely no one touched it. There is one fingerprint on the inside of the safe. It's either mine or his, and the lab is determining right now.
Wow.
So if it's his, I mean,
it just got chills. It definitely is his. Like,
bye.
Yeah. Well, he already is bi. So he's bye. So 8 other people came forward. I mean, that was kind of the end. I mean, at that point you had to know, right, that this guy's fucking con.
Oh, I mean, I knew right away so this is what happened. Essentially, he was staying with me, and he said he had this $12 million house in the hills that he got for a really good deal, because he's a Chase private client, because he created a software that by the way, he lied to me about his age, lied to me about his occupation.
Everything's
lied to me about
a lie.
Everything.
That comes out of that man's mouth. He's not even a man. He's a boy.
A child. That he sold to JP Morgan and Chase Bank. And to me, he said for $40 million. And that because tax the tax deadline is coming up. He had to figure out a way to invest 20 million really quickly and wanted me to like connect him to my connects.
He's just the biggest. Like, he's so full of shit. It's just ridiculous.
He's a psychopath.
He
It's scary.
pretends to be this heir from South Africa. Like, he pretends that he comes from a lot of money. Like, he makes it seem like,
But you know
he was
what's
talking
crazy?
to me
I
about, he's
think-
like, I just bought a Ferrari, this, that, and the other. My dad's gonna kill me.
I
Like,
just bought a Ferrari. Really, the one that you tried to steal and scam for a fake $300,000 wire and then a bad check for $300K.
And I don't know if this is the difference between guys or girls, or if this is just the situation, but your friend who, you know, was going to sell him the Ferrari said, no, not until the wire comes through. And I think that's a lesson, because I think that as women, we are empathetic, and we are, and it could be a gift and a curse. Like,
It's
we want to believe the best in people, but I think that's an important lesson to like be very firm with like boundaries, and like, no, you can have it when the wire comes through, period. Like, that's what I should have said with the apartment.
That's what I should have
you know
said
what I
when
mean? Like,
he told me. So when he was staying with me, he basically was like, my house, bub, like we were going to dinner for my friend's birthday, the one who's, he is invested in Warwick. And this person said, the LA Swindler said, my house will be ready tomorrow. Come stay in it with me, whatever, you know, but since we're going to be hanging out tonight anyway, do you mind if I stay with you tonight? And I was like, of course, like we're going to be out late. We'll probably like after party, whatever. It's fine. But he comes over with like a suitcase and I'm like, what? I just meant you could like stay. But I am so nice. Like, I'm too nice. When people bother me, usually I keep it in, and I'm learning to be more assertive, but you know, I'm just too nice. So I was like, okay, whatever. It's weird he brought a suitcase here. Like, is he homeless? I'm not sure. Anyway, but I did believe in the house thing fully 100%. So then he tells me the next day that he got fraud on his card, completely locked out of his account, and can I please, you know, just spot him for food? And I bought him. Not only did he sleep on my couch for a week in my $4,000 a month apartment for free, I paid for his meals and his Ubers because I truly believed he had fraud on his card, and because he sent me that wire. I thought the wire was real.
Right.
The international wire that I thought would hit in 8 days. It's just crazy. But so basically towards the end of everything, the end of the week when he was staying with me, I went out of town for a modeling event. Like, it was shoot in Michigan, but I was only there for one day. And so I was like, yeah, you can watch my dog. You can, please don't stay in my apartment. I said, here's the fob to let my dog out, because you need it to get in and out of the building.
right.
And I had to leave at 3 a.m. because my flight was at 5. So I had to like leave in the middle of the night, and I felt rude like waking him up. So I was just like, go ahead, sleep until the morning, and then when I'm gone overnight, please stay in your own home.
Right.
Like, I would feel comfortable with that. And he
Right.
said, don't worry, I'll stay there. I'll bring Bear, my dog, and he'll love the house and the yard. And I was like,
What
okay.
house? With what money?
Yeah.
The money he stole from your safe? Like,
Yeah, which now he's using to sue me. It's sick.
And it's so crazy because I think back to like, he wanted my exes and my IDs, so we sent the IDs for the Rolex
I'm so
watches.
scared of what he's doing
And
with those.
yeah, he
I'm so scared.
definitely did some shit with my ID. Like, he probably either sold it, like identity theft. Like, I don't know. He found a way to profit off of it. Sure, and it's scary because now my ID's out there being
It is
used for
so
some
scary.
criminal shit. Like, it's scary. This guy is just, he has no, I feel like he has no soul. Like, he just doesn't give a shit what he does to anyone. He will do anything to get further. He just
100%. So I'm looking through, I have a chronological
Yeah.
list of everything that he
Yes.
did to me because, as I mentioned briefly before, he stole out of my safe, conned me, sent me a fake wire, and then tried to set me up. He said, I never stole from you, but I will pay you this amount to make this go away. Which is an admission of
which
guilt.
was a little bit
but
less than what he had stolen.
It was.
But it was a way to
But for
try to
me,
get
I
rid
was
of it.
like, of course, I consulted an attorney the entire time, and he said, get what you can get.
Yeah.
Take it. And I was like, okay, of course. And then every time he would send me a fake Zelle, or he would say, I'm going to do it, and then not. And so I started to get angry in the text messages with him. And I started to say, like, if you do not, I never said, pay me this or else, which is extortion. I said, if you do not bring me back my money that you stole, I will have no other choice but then to post the truth about you online. The truth.
The truth.
And now he is suing me for defamation, which he's all of a sudden he wants to drop the case because he's not going to win.
Because he's a fucking con. You are a fraud. You faked law documents. You pretended to be law companies that you're not. That is illegal.
When everybody
you're going to
the
jail.
Law firms,
I don't know if you have a visa, but if you have one, it's going to get taken away.
It's a student visa, meaning, and I don't think he's going to school right now, meaning he's not here legally at all.
Bye.
To be in a country illegally and be committing bank fraud, wire fraud,
who knows what other
theft,
fraud?
Who even
8 people
knows?
came forward, and there's probably a lot more that haven't seen the post that
100%.
he's fucked over as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
one person who wants to remain anonymous and not really have the situation talked about, I'm not going to speak about that situation, but I know that from this and others, he fake invested millions into their companies.
How? With another fake wire?
With fake wire receipts.
Damn.
And sent multiple, to be like, oh, I don't know why it didn't go through. I'll send another. Wow. So, I mean, it's beyond me. But so basically, when I was out of town for that shoot, he broke into my safe, stole the money. I know he did because he was the only person in my apartment. I believe 100% with all of my heart.
It was
him.
He did. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, after that, I played it off for immediately right after I got back. And you know how sick he is? He picked me up from the airport. Baby, can I please pick you up from the airport to try and cover his tracks?
Of course.
Took me and my friend to get food because she was there doing the shoot with me. Took us to get food. Dropped her off, dropped me home. I was so tired from flying and jet lag, so I slept, woke up, and then he slept on my couch one night. And then in the morning at 6 a.m., he had to leave for Philly for business he told me for the tequila brand he was investing in. But now I know that tequila brand is based out of LA. Everything is lies.
Yeah.
So he took my money and fled.
Wow.
And then this is when the fake heart problem started. I don't even know if I've told you about this. So
oh, no.
he starts to kind of ghost me because I think he was like, how do I handle this situation? And he says, babe, I want to let you know, these voice to text messages. I want to let you know I'm not ignoring you at all. I had to go to the hospital because I lost so much blood. I'm having these heart problems and they think I have heart failure. And eventually it was that he had to get heart surgery and he had a limited time to live. And I said, well, how much time? He said, well, they don't know. And I'm like, okay. He said he was going to die from these heart problems. And that, Bri, do you realize
I
that?
can't help but laugh just because it's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. So when these weird health excuses began persistently popping up and he was ghosting me, I thought, okay, you know what? I have to call my bank and check if this wire transfer ever came through. Because my friends were telling me, I really believed him. I really did. I'm naive and dumb and trusting. I get it. But my friends said, you have to check on this transfer. So I was like, you know what? I want to believe him. Like, I want the happily ever after. Like, I have serious abandonment issues. I was adopted. I was separated from my parents when I was really young. Like, I think like most people, even who haven't experienced that, I just am looking for like true love and someone who will really like love me. So he preyed on that. But anyway, so I called my bank. I speak to the wire department. I say, did an international wire ever hit my account? And they say no. And I said, okay, wait, did any wire from April ever hit my account? And they said no. Yep. And I'm like, are there any wires in process coming through or that were in process and canceled? And they said no, we can see everything. Absolutely nothing. I was like, are you 100% sure? And they said yes. So at this moment, my heart dropped, my stomach clenched, and he knew about my safe. And saw it and saw me in it one day. He walked in when I was in it, and I was like, can you please get out and give me some privacy, and saw that there was money in it.
Oh my God.
So my heart dropped, and I knew. I went to my safe and I counted my money, and he left some.
He did.
He left some because
so you wouldn't
it
notice.
was in
Yeah.
different envelopes. He left the same amount of envelopes with smaller amounts of money in it, but I know what my money looks like because I count it every few days.
Right.
And I keep a note in my phone of every single amount, because when I add and when I don't, I have to know what's
Yeah.
in there because it's my savings.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it was gone.
Wow.
And I knew, obviously it was him. He was the only one in my apartment at all. So that was crazy. And then I waited a few days because I wanted to see him in person and confront him in person. But I realized he was ghosting me, and the chances of him meeting back up with me in person were probably none.
No, he got what he wanted. He got his money, a lot of money.
After a few days, a lot of money, I confronted him and I said via text message, look, it was eating away at me pretending like I didn't know. Look, I said, I know you did this. There's a criminal investigation going on with the police. They are fingerprinted the safe. They have your DNA, that everything you left in my apartment.
On the couch, everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
I took it all. I put it in like a plastic bag. I'm like, take it, identify this person because he needs to be stopped.
He does.
And I said, I am willing to completely drop the criminal case and redact my statement if you simply return the money to me. I don't want you to get in trouble. I'm just looking out for you. I was so nice about it. After ghosting me and ignoring me for days with these fake heart problems, and he's dying, and he still wants to be with me, but he's dying and doesn't know how to deal with it right now, immediately calls me in 1 minute and is like, babe, what are you talking about? I didn't steal from you. I don't care about any money. All I care about is a relationship with you. And I was like, I laughed at him. Like, I have the recording of this call.
Oh, good.
And I was like, okay, bring me back my fucking money. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
This is not a fucking joke.
Right.
And I was like, so
what did
mean.
he say?
And I know that if this lawsuit does go through and we do go to court, they're going to be like, did you say this, and this, him? And I'm going to be like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I said you have a tiny fucking brain and you're retarded. And you got your fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, I did.
Well, he is, because I mean, look, he's caught now. The same pattern, the same conversations, the same fake. Like, I'm sure he said heart problem to you. Maybe he said something different to someone else. Like,
okay, Tinder Swindler.
Yeah, and he was helping me move some of my stuff to storage one day, and I had a big bag of all like my medicine cabinet, like because I was completely moving out and letting him move in with his stuff. Like, the furniture stayed, but all of my shit I took with me. You know, I had my prescription pills in there. I had a lot of different, like, over the years, shit builds up. Like, you have all these different kinds of medicines and whatever. I had a full bag of it. And as we're moving stuff to storage, I guess I didn't notice in the moment, but I noticed the next day, because I have a ritual where I take my medications every morning, right? And so, like, it was gone, and I was like, hey, did you see that bag of prescriptions? So sometime in the period when he was helping me move stuff from his car to storage, he stole the prescription bag, and God only knows what he sold it for, fake sold it for, pretended some of those pills were like, it's just, he's such a con in like so many ways. So yeah, beware, LA. I think he's out of LA now, but
we think, because apparently he's in Philly and the lawsuit is federal because of the difference in
but I wonder why he picked a Philadelphia lawyer. Like,
so
and why did he
was
drop
going
the cases? Did he try to con the lawyer, and then the lawyer's
I
like, sir, this is
believe-
a fake wire. Like, we can't work together.
So I think that is it. So I believe that there's a girl that he's seeing
Who's a
is in
lawyer?
LA. No, who's in LA and also Philly, because he sent me a screenshot of a Zelle payment and said, baby bug, I just sent someone $1,000. Yeah, he's so crazy.
Baby bug.
To put you on my car insurance so that you can drive all my cars legally. Sent me a screenshot of the Zelle, and the girl's name was in it with her phone number. So I looked up insurance with this girl's name. I thought it was a red flag, but I was just dumb back then. But now I found her, and someone else, one of the victims, told me that they knew that he was dating or seeing a girl with that name. in her Instagram bio, it says LA and Philadelphia.
So it's so interesting because a lot of the people that he's fucked over, he has kind of been a little bit romantic with, or like, even if it never got to that point,
That's how it was with us. We were romantic, but we were never intimate.
Right. Yeah. So like for me, because he and I didn't have that like romantic at all connection, he did it with an employment. He was like, no, I'll employ you. I'll give you $5,000 a month to just work for me and, organize all my stuff. And
Like
so,
a personal assistant.
yeah. And so since the wire never came through for the first month, he sent me a one-time Venmo. And in the description, it said, just in case. And so he had paid for the 1 month. Then after I showed up again, because I'm a crazy Italian from Jersey, like I will go get my money or you're going to get the fuck out kind of thing.
No,
like I'm
100% as you
aggressive
should.
like that. So I showed up the second time, like to kick him out. And in that moment, he sent me the second payment, but he hadn't stayed the second month yet. So me, being the crazy aggressive Italian from Jersey that I am, I was like, get the fuck out. And I'm keeping this second month payment as payment for the employment that you told me, because I have it in writing. Jen Rufo is employed from this date, starting this date. And he was supposed to be paying me from that date. So I took that payment and I said, I'm not giving this back. Get the fuck out of my apartment. So he really didn't fuck me over.
Okay.
I kind of fucked him over. He paid me a rent, and then, like, he didn't stay there, but I took that as payment for the employment that I was technically doing for him, because he was like, you're not employed for me from this moment on. I'm like, okay, cool. So this is my payment from the start date that I have in writing and your voice memo to now. Get the fuck out of my apartment. Like,
and he definitely like robs Peter to pay Paul. So who knows how he acquired that money to even pay you?
Exactly.
I mean, you rightfully deserve it, but it's like, this is what he does. It's so sick.
It's so sick and twisted. Oh my God. Anything else that we forgot?
So I, after I, told him that I knew he did this, I gave him a chance to come clean. He said, well, just so you know, like, he kept reaching out to me and was like, I'm willing to pay you this, but I didn't take your money, but I'm willing to pay you, $30,000 to put this all behind us, which is, not what
If you have that much money, why not just pay you the full thing
then
that
he
you
was
lost?
just bullshitting me around. And, so until he kept reaching out to me saying, and then he reached out to me and said, because in one of my messages, I was like, look, if you keep committing federal crimes, you're going to get deported. I'm sure ICE would love to hear about this, and the feds. Like, please just give me back my money. And I don't care to be involved with you. I don't care about criminal charges against you. I just want this done.
Right.
And he kept reaching out to me like, oh my God, the deportation process has started. Bri, they have asked me to leave the country peacefully. Good. He's lying. Asked me to peacefully leave the country. Please, I'll pay you whatever money. I didn't steal from you, but I'll pay you whatever to make this stop. Making it look like I'm getting him deported and he's paying me because I'm extorting him, even though he didn't take the money. So then he filed charges against me for extortion. Not only did he never pay me $1 back, filed criminal charges against me for extortion, which will never hold up, because in every message I said, please bring me back my money that you stole. That's not extortion.
Right.
And then filed a lawsuit against me. But this one, because he stole my money, now he has money. So he truly went to a real lawyer and filed a real lawsuit. The difference in jurisdictions makes it a federal case.
Right.
And I'm like, holy shit, this guy will stop at nothing.
Right.
So what I did was resorted to social media. So I made one post. I had so many people comment, message me, had, maybe like 5 other people that were victims. And then I made another post blacking out everyone's names with saying, this guy is a fraud. Do not trust him. Do not let him scam you. Beware of him with his face, his name, and everyone's stories and the fraudulent documents to back it up. So if he tried, which I knew he was going to try to sue me for defamation, you have to prove that the statements that I made are false. None of them are false, and they all have supporting documentation, because I have copies of everyone's fraudulent wires, fraudulent lawsuit documents.
He tried to sue me for $6.5 million. Like, sir, sit
and then
down.
when it's like truly a lawsuit in court, he's suing me for $75,000 because that's like a normal amount.
That's
but
a normal, yeah. But you didn't do anything wrong. It's not going to happen.
No, and it's like I'm the victim.
I hope you are the victim. I was the victim. He plays the victim, but he's not. He is a criminal, and I really hope that you get your money back. I don't know if that's the case because it was sadly all cash. But I hope that he gets what's coming to him, and I hope that, you know, I don't know. I hope he gets sued or something or gets deported.
So the thing is with suing him, I am, you know, until recently, all of a sudden he wants to drop the case because he realizes he has no case. They filed a temporary injunction for a temporary restraining order against me so that I could no longer post about him online. But they dropped it because I believe that after his attorney saw the second post with 5 victims and all their messages and all their documents as proof, he realized, oh my God, this guy did take her money.
Yeah.
He is lying to me. There is irrefutable evidence. I don't know. I wonder if he even said he couldn't represent him.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
probably if I was that lawyer, I wouldn't want to represent him anymore after all of these things are coming to the surface.
No, because these are such big federal crimes and you're not even a citizen.
Like he needs a defense attorney, not, you know, whatever attorney he got.
He's like an employment law attorney.
Yeah, he needs a defense attorney to defend all of the shit that all the criminal acts that this man has done. And
it is beyond crazy. It is crazier than Tinder Swindler, crazier than Inventing Anna. And I truly want it to be like
done
public. No, I want everyone to know.
No,
I want
me too.
Everyone
I'm
to know
so glad.
so no one can get
I'm so glad. I'm not glad that it happened to you, but I'm glad that you posted about it because living with having that happen to me, I felt kind of like nobody really understood. And even though even though he didn't technically in the end get over on me money wise or whatever, like he didn't really take much from me, it still is so exhausting. Like that month of my life was so draining, was so emotionally exhausting, was so like it just fucked up my life. It fucked up my workflow. It fucked up literally everything. I had to fly back from the East Coast to come kick him out. Like it fucked up a lot of my time and energy just dealing with someone like this. So
100%.
Even though like he didn't technically steal money, it was still like a shit show dealing with him.
He stole from me. Framed me for extortion,
sued,
filed criminal charges against me, and then is suing me. And because I made those public posts, he realizes now that he has no case. They dropped the motion for the restraining order.
Good.
Which I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm assuming it's because his lawyer said, we're not going to win this.
Yeah.
And then sent me this very long email saying, Bri, please forgive me. Like, I really want to put this all behind us. And I'm so sorry if I've hurt you. This week has been the worst week of my life. And I've never been in more emotional distress. Oh, you haven't? Join the club, baby. Yeah. I have not been able to sleep. Like, I'm getting attacked and sued in federal court for something I never did. When I got my money stolen.
It's just ridiculous. Anyway, I hope that, you know, karma catches up to this guy. Be careful. It's, you know, I'm sure there's more guys like that out there.
I believe they're studying from these shows.
They are, and that's the thing. They're studying from the Tinder Swindler. They're studying. I mean, Tinder Swindler had Rolexes. This guy, Rolexes. It's like they're and I didn't see the Tinder Swindler until after dealing with the LA Swindler.
Okay.
Then I saw the Tinder Swindler after dealing with it, and I'm like, how was I so stupid?
I mean, I saw it before and I was still naive.
You know, so be careful.
I just want everyone to be careful and to fact check everything someone tells you. And you know what? Like so many people told me, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. My dad told me that. My boyfriend at the time told me that. Like, and I just wanted it so badly to be true.
Same.
He promised my dad a Rolex. He promised my ex a Rolex. He promised me a job, making X amount a month. Like
the funniest thing to me is he said, by the way, babe, I get free Rolexes if you want one. And I said, ew, Rolexes? I don't wear Rolexes.
So that's a way
I don't
to
like those.
get a screenshot of your ID so that he could sell it to God knows who for God knows how much.
And have you pay the tax or whatever of like $500.
Yep.
That's
what I paid him. That's what I
scam.
paid him. I deducted that from not giving him his money back because he was like, we need, it's just $500. You just pay the taxes for the Rolex.
And then you get like a $20,000
I
watch
sent him
for
that.
free.
And of course I deducted that from when I was kicking him out. I was like, no, because I paid you this for that and the employment. So I owe you nothing. Get the fuck out of my apartment. Like, it just all evened out. And like, I'm so glad I put him in his place.
It did for you.
Yeah. I feel so bad for you though.
I
But
mean,
we'll
I
get him.
have been putting him in his place to the point where he's like begging me to just take the post down and he'll drop all the charges and do everything. And I'm like, part of me doesn't even want to, but I have to because I can't have these like false criminal charges against me and a federal lawsuit where I'm going to end up paying the best, because that's who I am, the best federal attorneys in Pennsylvania.
Totally.
So much money to, in the end, get a judgment against someone that I will never be able to collect $1 of. It will say, you won this case. He owes you however much, let's say 100,000, 200, whatever. And I'll never be able to collect on it because he doesn't actually have a job. He doesn't actually have income. He doesn't actually have a house.
I don't
cars,
even think that's his actual name.
It is, because I did so much research on him. I saw his high school in South Africa. I kept composting him. And that's when I realized
we should go to the South African news.
We should.
So we have someone else here with her story. So thank you so much for sharing your story about the LA Swindler.
I want to get it out there.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on to talk about stuff not relating to the LA Swindler.
Like more positive vibes.
Yeah, we'll have you back on
time.
for sure. Thanks again.
Of course. Thank you.
Of course. As the Stock Bunny, she's an influencer / creator on social platforms, and she too was affected by the LA Swindler. So let's hear your story.
Unfortunately. So like Bri said earlier, he actually DM'd me on Instagram and I happened to see it. And he was inviting me to the same fake Forbes gala that he said he was going to, and he wanted me to be his date. Which I did believe because I had no reason not to. I just looked at his Instagram and his bio was like saying he was an investor and this and that. And I make content about finance and investing in the stock market and cryptocurrency and investing. So I was like, oh, he's an investor. Cool. Like maybe we have some stuff in common. Like maybe I'll go on a date with him. So I was like, yeah, I'll come to the gala with you. And then he was like, well, let's go on a date first and get to know each other, obviously. So I was like, okay, sure, that sounds fine.
Yeah.
So he invited me to go to 71 and Above, which is like a pretty nice restaurant around here in LA. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. So the first red flag to me was he wanted me to meet him at the hotel he was staying at, which was a Hilton, which is fine. Totally fine. But based on what he told me after I met him there, it just didn't add up or make any sense. So I got to the hotel and we like went for a walk around, and he had like a bunch of sketchy phone calls in the middle of us talking, and I didn't know what he was on the phone with them about at all. He just said it was his driver who was calling him. So I was like, that's fine. And then he ended up telling me, oh, 71 and Above actually just called me. They're closing their kitchen. We can't go there anymore. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So like, whatever, it's fine. So we just walked to a random restaurant and started talking. And this is like where all of his lies started coming out. He was like, yeah, I'm a big investor. I actually created a trading algorithm and I sold it to JP Morgan and Chase for $600 million, which is insane. And I don't even know why I let the conversation pass this point, but he's a really good liar, a really, really good liar. So yeah, we ended up going out to eat and he was telling me about all of his like investing things, and he was making the hint toward the fact that he wanted me to invest in some stuff. Like he was saying, oh, like you should invest in this. There's this company. He gave me like a company name, which I'm sure is totally fake. And then he was telling me he knew that I think that I believe that he found me from my TikTok where he could see that I was an investor. I was familiar with stocks and crypto and investing in things. And I believe that he also studied my Instagram and my content and all of that to make himself into this version that I would want to talk to or, you know, see.
Yeah.
So he was telling me how he was an investor and that I should invest in better things, even though he never asked me what I was investing in. So I don't know. I just believed him because he sold this algorithm, because there are trading algorithms. It is a thing. To JP Morgan and Chase. So I was like, okay, maybe he actually did. But
he had to make himself, he had to build himself up and make you see something worthwhile in, you know, keeping him around. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he saw something in you, which was, ooh, this girl, I can make money off of her because she knows her shit. She has the money to invest. I'm going to manipulate her into giving me money for something that she can invest in. And he knew that you're into this stuff, the crypto and investing and all this stuff. So he tried to make himself as appealing as possible in your eyes.
Yeah.
To like, you know, maybe we can do business together or whatever, even though he's
Yeah.
completely full shit.
Yeah, that's exactly how he was making it seem to me. Like, oh, I'll help you invest in more things. Like, we're
Right.
gonna like do all this. And I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. And then after dinner, we went to like a movie. And this is the biggest red flag of them all. We got to like get popcorn and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't pay. I have a, sorry, he was like, I have a black card and we're not allowed to use it at certain places because there's so much money on it. Like, it's a black card with Chase. Like, they don't let us connect it to our phone, like, blah, blah, blah. He just made up this huge elaborate lie on why he couldn't buy the popcorn. And I was like, you know what? I'll buy it. It's okay.
I got the popcorn.
I got it. He was like, can I Venmo you? I was like, no, it's okay. It was like $5. I got it. But that was another red flag to me. So,
Oh, you mean the Venmo that Bri sent him for like?
yeah, it was probably some extra Venmo he had left over from another girl.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he did that, and I was like, okay, this is weird. And then it got to a point. So I had an Instagram post of me in like a nicer car or whatever, and I think that he already saw that, and
course.
he said to me, "Oh, do you like cars? Like, are you into cars and stuff?" And I was like, yeah, I guess.
Sure.
Like, sure, whatever. So he pulls out his phone and he starts like swiping through his camera roll and he has like a bunch of pictures of like really nice cars. And he's like, this is mine. This one's mine. I just bought this one. And they were a little bit convincing because there was a photo of him at a car dealership, like shaking hands with someone as if he just bought a car. Well, we all probably saw that one. So yeah, it was like a purple Lamborghini or something. He was like, I hate it because it's purple, like blah blah blah. But yeah.
Then
so-
why'd you buy it, you idiot? Like, I'm sorry.
But obviously he didn't actually buy it. So yeah, he showed me that. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he is real. Because it was a convincing photo, you know. People
He
do
told
take
me he was buying a Ferrari too or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's just.
Yeah, so then that happened. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I did not like him because he was trying to flex his money in the first place because
You can tell when
It's
people are like
unattractive.
talking about it too much. It's like, all right, like we can see kind of what you're trying to do here.
yeah.
But I think at the same time, we still try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so they're like in a little ego part of their journey. Like, I'm sure he still has some good qualities. Like, we try to like give them the benefit of the doubt, but that's a red flag if they're constantly just talking about like money and the glitz and the glam and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, are you even a real person? Because
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's when I was just like, okay, like enough. You know, I was just like, okay, nice cars, whatever. And then it got to the point, so I was leaving. We were in an Uber together. He was getting dropped off back off at his hotel. And he was like, can I see you tomorrow? Like, let's go for a drive down the PCH. And I was like, okay, cool. So we were texting. And he was like, what car do you want me to bring? And I was like, listen, I did not memorize all those cars you just showed me. No
Right.
matter how nice they were, I don't care. And I was like, just bring one of them. I don't care. So the next day comes when he's supposed to take me for this drive in one of his fancy cars down the PCH, and he doesn't text me until like late in the afternoon. He was like, sorry, I had to meet with Chase. And I was like, okay, whatever. At this point, I kind of knew what was going on. So I'm a good investigator. So I went on his Instagram and I went on his following list. And the most recent person he had followed was a luxury car rental company. And I was like, okay, he was probably trying to get a rental car
yeah,
and just rent a car and bring me in it to
Yeah.
like impress me,
for sure.
to prove he's whoever he is,
Yeah.
and then try to get me to invest in something because that's something he was pushing in our conversations when I first met him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's when I was just like, okay, and I just ghosted him. I was done. And then he messaged
Good for
me.
you.
Yeah, because I knew he
You
followed
knew.
a car rental company.
Yeah.
If you really have all this money, and I know Bri was saying he said that he had a house in the hills. He told me the same
He
thing.
told me the same thing too, that he
Mhm.
was buying a house in the hills or some shit.
Yeah, and he told me it was getting furnished. That's
Yeah.
why he was staying at the Hilton. And he was like, I get free stays at the Hilton. That's why I'm staying at the Hilton, or else I'd be somewhere better. And I was like, it makes sense. Like, stuff he says kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And then
It makes
until it
enough
doesn't.
sense until it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until like, all these patterns start adding up, and it's like, okay, I get it.
And then this is how I met you. So after I ghosted him, he hit me up again and again. He was like, I still want to take you to the gala. I think he was still trying to like infiltrate. And I was like, I just wasn't answering him. I was like, listen, you lied to me. Once I told him he lied to me, he was getting so mad. Like you said, gaslighting. He was like, tell me what I lied to you about then. Tell me what I lied about. Like, I didn't lie to you about anything.
Yep.
He gaslighted me. And I was just like, listen, enough. Like, I just ghosted him. And then I made a couple TikToks about my experience on my like stock page because it was interesting. I wanted people to know.
It's entertaining. It is.
So I made a few TikToks, and then like 2 days later, I get another message from him, and it was the same fake document from the law firm that he forged completely.
Was it like something in Blaine?
Yeah, Callahan
and Blaine.
Yeah, it was the same one. And that's how I found you. Yeah. So I was looking at the document, and it was literally in the weirdest font. It looked so photoshopped.
So this idiot left my name on the forged lawsuit document.
He left it.
And sent the same one to her. Then she reached
bad.
out to me like, bro,
yeah, that's how I found you, because when I was reading through, he was trying to sue me in the document.
6.5 million?
Mine was 1.5 million. Okay. He must have thought that I didn't have that much as you, I guess.
That's because I actually, didn't give his money back. But
yeah. No, so 1.5
suck my clit.
million.
You're not getting it back.
Yes, literally. I thought, and he was like, you have a certain amount of hours to call me and delete the TikToks, or else
he threatened me.
Yeah,
he threatened me too.
Yep. And so I looked at the document a little bit closer, and at the very end of the document, he left your name, like we just said. He left your name, so I found you on Instagram and I DM'd you. I was like, listen, have you dealt with this guy? Because clearly he was trying to pretend to sue you too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, that was my deal with the Tinder. Well, not the Tinder swindler, but the LA
swindler. The LA swindler. Well, I'm glad he didn't swindle you too much.
Too bad. Yeah.
I'm sure there's people that he has swindled, and honestly, it's not. People say like, oh, how can you be so stupid? Like, even I watched like the Tinder swindler, and I was like, how can these girls be so dumb? But like, unless you're actually in it, like, all the facts don't come at once. It's one little thing at a time. So it's like, okay, that's a little believable. Next day, okay, and then finally, it doesn't make all of the sense until all the 20 things that he did add up, and you're like, this is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it's much more easier to get swindled than you think.
It's so much
just
easier.
Be careful.
He was a very good liar. Like, the things were adding up. Like,
manipulator. Expert.
Really good. I was trying to get him too when he was saying, he told me all of his cars were in a garage. That's why he didn't have them. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll come with you to the garage then. I want to see all your cars. Like, I like cars. Like, it'll be cool. Let me come to the garage. And he was like, well, I think they're closed right now. You actually can't come. Like, someone has to be there to unlock it. And I was like, okay, I'll wait. Let's go. And then he just had nothing to say.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's just a liar.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you are rid of him, and I'm so glad you posted the TikToks to call him out. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we can have you back on to talk things not related to the LA swindler.
I know. Yeah, I'm so down.
Sounds good. Thanks for being here.
No problem. It's fun.